Welcome everybody to my channel. My name is Anastasia and I'm a transformation coach. Today I will tell you about my life story and why I'm recording this. This is, by the way, my first video, so I think I'll make a lot of pauses, I'll stumble on my words and so on, so sorry for that. I hope that the core of my message is more important than the perfect flow of words. So some time ago, I was too hard on myself, particularly in my motherhood, and I've put on myself too much responsibilities, and I wanted to do everything the best way I can. So after a few years, I've realized that I didn't exist anymore, literally speaking. I realized that it's not like I hated myself. It's more of, one day I was doing something, cleaning and running after the kid and cooking and laundry, and there was a moment when I went by a mirror and I was doing something. My head is always looking at the floor to pick up some toys and stuff like that. So at one moment, during all that stuff, I just looked up in the mirror and I saw my face, and this was a turning point because my face told me that it's not me anymore, really. Like 5 years ago, 7 years ago, I would be like a normal human being with my interests, with a life, with energy, which I think is the most important. And at that moment, when I looked at the mirror and I saw nothing, I saw the face. Oh my gosh, I still remember that feeling. And actually that feeling changed everything, and I started to try to get back to myself, actually, because I realized that if I continue like that, I will be simply destroyed totally from the inside. So what I saw in my face and in my eyes that moment, that was desperation, feeling that I had no power over circumstances, right, just like every one of us. And I felt that I became a function. Yes, I'm a woman, blah, blah, blah. But what I saw in my face, maybe you had similar moments when you are super down. I saw that I'm no longer totally alive, right? Yes, I do the work, I do what I have to do, I take care of people that I have to take care of, I do that, and I just do it very well, right? But what about me? And it's not about selfish talk right now. It's about the fact that I got so much to the bottom that it really turned everything around. And the reason why I'm recording this is because I know that many women actually might get lost and buried in domestic, all that stuff that we love, right? Children, cooking, laundry, all that nonstop going on. So from that moment, I started to try to learn, first of all, to learn how to stop being a function and how to get back to being myself. I like to read books, I like to draw and stuff like that. I'm a normal human being, but I was no longer that normal human being at that moment because there was nothing in my face. When you look at a person, and yes, you see the body, you see the eyes, you see everything, but you see the emptiness, endless emptiness in the eyes. I think all of us have experienced that. Maybe not for ourselves, but at least someone else maybe strangers, maybe coworkers, I don't know. So that moment of desperation and at the same time of realization where I was, really where I was at that moment, so what was my real state of mind, I started to read about that, to learn about that more and more. And I realized that actually care of others is great. We all have obligations, right? Responsibilities. We have children, we have partners, we have pets and stuff like that. Someone has gardens as well that also needs care actually. But it all turns out that we have to take care of ourselves first, right? Yes, I know it sounds very obvious. Everyone's talking about it. Love yourself, care about yourself. I've heard that. I read those affirmations, and they were very, very useless for me because I never knew actually what does it mean to love yourself. Yes, if you are an expert in loving yourself, then that's good for you. And maybe this video will be boring for you, but I'm just sharing what I've been experiencing. And at that point, I realized that just saying that I love myself doesn't really help, simply because I don't know what that means in action, in real actions. So I started step by step, putting myself together, and the most important question that I started asking myself is, what makes me feel most alive in a day? We have hundreds of activities, yes, we have responsibilities, but what makes you personally more alive? Just you personally. We all have different activities that sparks us, right? So if you also have experienced that moment, or maybe a longer period of time when you felt you're nothing, a worthless function, you know. Yes, people may say that you're so great. You wash the dishes like amazingly. Your floor is so clean, and your kids are so happy. You must be a super mom. Or if you do a great job, you're always on time. You have super creative ideas, and people praising you. But all of that has no meaning if really inside you're so empty and you're just out of any energy, and no one knows how you function, right? So you know the truth. And my point was to be, first of all, honest with myself. Since that day when I looked up in the mirror that I told you, I decided that I would step by step name the feelings that I have, even if they are not beautiful. So there is such thing as a societal expectation, right? And it's like an invisible rule that no one talks about, but we all expected to behave that way and to feel that way inside. But I'm sorry, that kind of doesn't work, and most of it works against me. Yeah, that's what I realized, because I was so desperate, and I've never thought in my life that I would look like that I would have such an emptiness inside of me. Like, if you had asked me 7 years ago, is it possible for you to be like that? I would say, of course, no. Of course, I read books about self-development. I'm positive all the time, blah, blah, blah. But life changes our states of minds, right? So by starting to tell myself ugly truth about what I feel, so when I thought that I have to be happy, because I just have to, because everything is fine in my life, right? I have to be happy. So I just had to move aside my emptiness and just say, yeah, I'm happy. And I would wait for myself to kind of feel that happiness. But that didn't happen, right? We are complex creatures, right? But everything has logic chains in our brain. So if you have faced, or maybe facing right now, the moment when you feel that uneasiness inside, when you know that what's on the surface, what's on the facade, is not actually aligned with what is inside of you, it's a moment to stop, really. To stop and take a piece of paper and just ask yourself, what is the truth that you're hiding from yourself in the first place, right? Forget about the others. Just start with yourself. So what are you hiding from yourself? And what things you don't allow yourself to say about your feelings inside, right? As for me, it was the fact that I thought that if I'm a mother, then I just must be happy all the time. I must do all the work. I must not complain, of course. And if I'm kind of feel that emptiness and feel that desperation because I'm just out of energy. My energy is absolutely drained. I thought that something is wrong with me, that I must do something maybe better, maybe all of the things I do must do better. So I simply blame myself, but that's not the way. That's not the way. So if you feel that way, what I recommend to you is, first of all, sit down, take your time. First of all, you will have to find a time for yourself and protect that time, right? To sit and think. It really takes time. We can't do it while we do other things, right? Just guard your time for thinking because it's too important. So list the things that may be the ugly truth for you, right? The contradictory things, things that no one wants to hear from you, right? Everybody wants you to be happy and just keep doing what you do, right? But your life is your life, and it's better to move on the path of honesty with yourself because it will make your life much more easier and you will save much more energy because you won't have to hide something, you won't have to play some roles that you don't like in your life. So simply list the ugly truth that is willing to come out of you. That's the first thing. And the second thing is also take a piece of paper, maybe the same one, and think about the things that make you the most alive versions of yourself. What makes your inner light like a fire? What makes it sparkle? And if it doesn't come to your mind immediately, it's okay. Just keep on asking yourself for a few days, maybe for a week. You will get the answer. You will get it. And after you realize it, just give yourself maybe 10 minutes a day to do that activity that will sparkle your fire. Your life will change, I'm telling you. So I'm glad you watched this video. I have created a free PDF journal for you. The journal is called 31 Day From Emptiness to Joy. So if you're interested, you can download it for free. The link will be under the description to this video. And I hope that everyone who's watched this video will get a beam of light for the transformation that you need. And I wish you get the right energy for those transformations. I'm happy that you're here. Thank you. See you in the next video. Your Anastasia.